Hi friends! So I work at a nonprofit. In fact, I'm low-key in my office right now. And a while ago on Tumblr, Pretty Little Birdie asked me about how I got into nonprofit work and if he or she wants to also work in a nonprofit, what they should study in college. So given that it's one of my last few days at my job here, I thought I would tell you about that. The fact that I work in a nonprofit is still true. So I got into nonprofits in kind of a weird way. I started out college majoring in advertising and realized pretty quickly that I didn't want to just try and sell people things they didn't need, and I especially didn't want to make them feel bad to do that. So I switched my major to writing, but quickly realized that a lot of jobs for writing majors are in advertising or marketing. So I decided that if I was going to be using my writing to make people do a thing, that it would be a positive thing. So I did my first internship with a nonprofit helping to market a farmer's market, which takes me to my first tip. If you are interested in working in a nonprofit and you are still in school, do as many internships as you can. In fact, even if you don't want to work in a nonprofit, I wish that somebody had told me that even doing like one internship is probably not enough. Start as early as you can, do as many as you can. It'll be a good way to figure out what you do and you don't like, and that whole like needing experience to get a first job thing, internships are the way to do it. The great thing about nonprofits is that you can also just volunteer with them, which means you get that experience by doing good things for people. Also looks really nice in a resume, makes you look like a good person, makes you feel like a good person, makes you a good person. So volunteer. Also note that I was a writing major. I didn't major in anything even slightly related to nonprofits. And part of that is because I really philosophically disagree with the idea that college is just job training, and so you should major in something like marketing or nonprofits or business, because you don't have to come out of college knowing everything. You just need to know how to learn things and quickly. So I think study whatever excites you and gives you kind of a broad range of experiences. Maybe minor or double major in one of those more kind of straight to career track majors. But the more diverse your experience is, the better, especially in a nonprofit. Resources are often stretched pretty thin, so if you can do a lot of different things and you're not super specialized, you're going to fit really well with a nonprofit team. For example, I write, but I also do graphic design, and I also do fundraising, and I also do video production. And I work at a fairly large office as far as nonprofit goes. We have like 50 or 60 people, but you may end up in an office of 2. And so the more you can adapt and pick up new skills and just be able to have a broad knowledge of a lot of things, the better you're going to do. Another thing I think is hugely important is to open yourself to experiences that will help you develop your empathy. I mean, if you're already on Tumblr, you're probably like halfway there, but things like having volunteer interactions with people you normally wouldn't come across in your day-to-day life, or studying other cultures, traveling, speaking other languages, any kind of class or volunteer work or job that can help you see a little beyond yourself and maybe feel like you are not the center of things is important. And I mean, a few business or marketing classes probably not going to hurt you either. Now, when you start looking for jobs, you probably already know this, but you're not going to make a ton of money working for a nonprofit. You're always going to be faced with the challenge of trying to do a little more with a little less, both in your job and at home. That's not a bad thing. You learn how to be really efficient and effective at things, which is a huge asset if you eventually decide to leave for the private sector. Also, burnout can be really high in nonprofits, partially because of the money thing, but also a lot of it is because you go to work every day and you care so much about what you're doing, and it kind of can consume you because there's always more to do. You can always do more, and if you try to, you will eventually crash and burn. I think it's one of the luckiest things in the world that I can do work that takes care of other people, but you have to also take care of yourself. So if you're considering working for a nonprofit, I definitely encourage it because, it's not evil. Let me know if you have ever thought about working for a nonprofit, or if you have questions about doing so in the comments, and I will answer them. Also, if you work for a nonprofit or have worked for a nonprofit, if you have any ideas or thoughts or tips to share, please share those as well. If you like this video, you can consider subscribing if you're so inclined. You can also find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Snapchat. I'll see you next week from a totally different location. Goodbye.